Live, and we are live. Check it, check it. Let me get a chat open really quick. Got a debate with a Tankie, and then if there's time, we'll probably hop back on to the bunk server stream where we're talking to Brittany. Been a long time since we talked to Brittany. So alright, let me get that open. She's gotten more transphobic since I saw her last. It's actually crazy. And as soon as I get chat up, we'll go talk to Ruka. Ruka is the Tankie who wanted to debate me on whether Hillary Clinton or Trump would have been worse as president. Seems like a pretty layup topic. So let's see. Content live debating a Tankie Trump presidency. Let's go. Let's go. Click the link. Got chat open. You know it. Let's go. Ruka. Hello. Are you there? Ruka? Oh, hello. There you go. Audio's working now. Hello? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Perfect. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. You wanted to talk about whether Hillary Clinton or Trump would have been a worse president?
Sure. I mean, also, I think talking about Obama could also be like a pretty good direct comparison about what I'm talking about. So I think it's obvious that
Sure, we can talk about Obama
Trump.
after.
Sure, I think it's obvious that Trump is a fucking moron. He's like pretty much terrible in any measure you look at. But I guess what I'm looking at is, from my perspective, Trump really was not that unique of a president. He was like your standard fucking Republican, tax cuts for the rich, kind of more isolationist in some ways, more aggressive in other ways. I think Trump was made out to be a sensation, but if you actually look at it like, bone for bone, I don't think he was that like unique of a president. I think Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, and this also applies to Obama.
But we can get into that.
So why do you think, here, let's start on that first. Why do you think Trump was unique, besides his tweets and his personality? Like what policy, like was his tax cuts unique? Was his immigration policy unique?
Yeah, I think in overall that Trump's going to be more right-wing than possibly any U.S. president. I'm trying to think. Definitely any that we've had in the last century. So
I think Bush is way to the right of Trump.
Absolutely not. Just in terms of Trump's undermining of democracy, this isn't going to be like super. I mean, actually, yeah, this will be probably necessary to the point. So, one, Trump's undermining of democracy makes it really, really hard to survive existential risks. And two, Trump has just been directly, empirically, really, really bad for existential risks. He cut the pandemic response team, which made it really, really bad. We had like a terrible response to the pandemic. He vetoed an AI safety bill that was proposed by Democrats and ended up being overruled bipartisanly. So they had to overrule the president's veto in order to make sure that AI safety actually got passed through. Really, really bad on climate change compared to both the Obama and Biden administrations.
And do you think that this is worse than the Iraq War?
Oh, way worse. Yeah. I think that the existential risks are going to be way, way worse.
Yeah, that's like insane to me. Yeah, so saying that like his.
Okay, so why do you think that valuing the like possibly like what's the, if we want to talk about like total number of years lived, if we survive an existential risk, the total number of years lived are going to be like 1.2 e to the 20, as opposed to like if the people who died in Afghanistan weren't killed, that they would have lived only like what, I think there's 100,000, so we can assume that like a million years. That's like a million versus like orders of magnitude more lives that
So not funding like AI research is, you're saying that's worse than the Iraq War?
Yes, yes. I think that failing to save like not even trillions, not even quadrillions, but like orders of magnitudes more lives than have ever existed thus far. I think that's way more important than
We
like
don't
a
have any
100,000.
empirics to prove this at all, though. So I mean, I feel like this is
Yeah,
just
we
like a
do.
hardcore kind of factor.
We I,
So we have the empirics. We have studies that show that AI without research is going to kill billions of
so
people.
now you're moving
This
the
this would be an
goalpost.
interesting
Now you're
study.
moving the
No, you
goalpost.
said there was empirics for this, so that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, so there are going to be empirics, right? The way that we're going to get the empirics is going to be like just the number of people that will exist in the future, right? So you can take the Earth's carrying capacity. We can send you something on that being about 10 billion. The remaining lifespan of the sun, which will be about 10 billion. So you have 10 billion lives for 10 billion years, assuming a little bit better of a quality of life. That's so like adjusting the quality of life by like 1.2. That's where I got with the 1.2 to the 1.2e to the plus 20. We can get rid of that 1.2 if you don't think lives are going to get any better. If we survive over time, right? Like if like things continue as normal. I'm fine with just saying it's.
Just not one thing though. So if Biden and Obama also failed to fund AI, that would also make them worse than Trump, right? Because I mean they're both failing to fund AI research.
No, Obama passed the Chips and Science Act, which was the biggest both safety measure cut, safety measure research intensive plan. It was huge in terms of being able to move non-defense spending into defense spending into non-defense spending as far as AI research. And in general, like making sure that AI safety is at the forefront of the research.
So you're saying that so Trump's policy on AI safety is this like the main thing we're getting at?
AI safety, like in alone, would be it. I think it's the by far the most likely
Yeah, I think
existential
that's
risk. And in order for the increase of an existential risk to be the equivalent of one murder, right? That's going to be it is 77 over 1.2 to the 1.2e to plus 20, so like 1.2 times 10 to the 20th power, which is 0.0 like 18 zeros. And then 6.4. That's going to be the probability it has to go up for it to be the equivalent of one murder.
Sure. So I can see like this could potentially be the case. I just don't think we have any empirics to prove this. And I think if we look at like 8 years of Trump and like I mean 4 years of Trump and 8 years of Obama, I think Obama clearly did way more harm to the world.
Okay, so again, what do you mean like empirics to prove this?
What? You're saying that you're saying that Trump's policy will kill this amount of people. I'm just like I don't think we can prove that at all.
I'm saying that this is the number of people that would die under an existential risk in order for it to. I'm not saying it will cause that. I'm just saying on expected utility, the like number of lives lost that it's increased. It's going to be like for every that amount that it increases risks 0.0. Like 8 zeros, and then not 8 zeros, 18 zeros, and then 6.4. That's the amount of if not doing that AI research, increase the probability of the risk by that much more.
If this did happen, I'd agree with you, but like we can't like debate against something that hasn't happened yet compared to what.
Well, yes, we can. It's just called expected utility. It's basic expected utility calculus. So let's talk about like if we're talking about how bad something
you're saying that
is,
Trump
right?
is potentially the worst.
No, I'm saying unexpected. I'm saying unexpected utility. He's the worst. Do you know what expected utility is?
You're saying like the percentage like of this likelihood of happening, right?
Yeah, in terms of the percentage of the expected utility is going to be the all of the possible consequences of an action times the probability that action occurs.
Yeah, I just don't think that like we have like can you show me the empirics that show like this is likely going to happen? Like the AI is going to fucking go crazy and murder everyone?
Sure. I can show you. So I can show you a number of different things rating the existential risk. So do you want? I can send you Toby Ord just rating all of the existential risks. Who he's the.
All of them. I want to see like how this methodology is done.
Sure. So there's a lot of different methodologies. Toby Ord will give you like a good summary of the methodologies. So I'll send you him. He's like a leading existential risk resource. So here's his book. If you want, I can also like try and find you a PDF of it or something. The other thing I can send you is the bioanchors model. If you just want the basics of that, it's going to be described here, which is basically comparing the development of human.
This is a book. Can you link me to study?
So there's not going to be a study on this, right? I can show you like papers, right? I can show you like I can show you studies on current AI, and I can show you papers on forecasting AI, papers that are going to be in like peer-reviewed journals, like articles and stuff. But obviously they can't do like a scientific empirical like.
Just tell me, yeah. What do you mean they can't do a scientific empirical? You said that it was empirical.
Yeah, so does use empirical, right? I'm saying like we're talking about two different things when we're saying empirical in these two situations.
Well, no, you're saying
when
that
I'm
you
saying
can prove
empirical,
this.
I'm
You can
talking
prove this
about,
to be a fact.
You can't prove anything to be a fact. There's like we don't have 100% certainty of anything.
Well, sure. Like I'm saying, like you can scientifically prove like this data, like the percentages, right?
I can't scientifically prove anything. I can provide a lot of evidence scientifically. In science, we don't ever prove anything.
Like have the empirics to back up this data. The percentages. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So there is going to be data for that. In the precipice, it's going to talk about a variety of things. It's going to be very Bayesian, since the evidence we're going to have on the subject is very limited.
How much Trump's policy affected this?
So we just have to know. You just have to say that it's better than the number I gave you times it. You just have to agree that it increases the probability of the risk by the number I gave you times 100,000, right? Because that's the number of people. How many people died in the Iraq War?
Like almost 1 million.
Are you sure? Death.
If you go by the Iraq body count, it's like something like 300,000.
Iraqi war causing 151 as of June 2006. Sure, let's call it 1 million, right? The number I gave you times 1 million. So if I just plug that in really quick, times 1,000 million. So yeah, that'll be 6.416667 e to the negative 1 to the negative 13. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's 13 zeros. 0.64. Yeah, that should be 13 zeros.
I still don't agree with this analysis because I don't think that we know that this is going to happen, and we do know what happened. But you can objectively look at what happened under both administrations.
So we don't know anything, right? We're saying we don't know what happened. This isn't.
We do know what happened. We can look at policies that have happened in the past.
We don't know anything, right? We don't.
Yes, we do.
How do you know you weren't in a simulation for the last 4 years?
Oh, sure. So how do we know that like Biden isn't actually going to press a button that's going to end the world? That could potentially happen.
Exactly. We don't know anything, but we have reason to believe things, right? We don't know.
But I think that's obviously you're being like. I think you know what I'm saying, right? Like we can look at what's like happened versus what potentially happened.
Yeah, I'm saying we have evidence that things will happen in the future and things that that have already happened. I don't think the fact that something will happen in the future means that it should be countered less, especially when it's so much more dramatic of a bad thing. For when it's an existential risk that could be like the end of the extinction of our species.
Well, I just don't think that like the extinction of our species is going to happen because of this one Trump policy. Like, and I don't think that like,
it doesn't have to happen because of this one Trump policy. It just has to be increased by 0.1306%.
I still don't really agree with this analysis because I think looking at what actually happened is like a better way to like.
Okay, so what's your problem with expected utility calculus? Are you not a utilitarian? What's your alternative?
Because we're trying to compare them, like what each of them did in their terms and like how much harm they caused in their term.
Yeah, and the way we do that is on expected utility. So what's your problem with expected utility calculus?
No, because we should look at like what the damage they did actually in their term, not something that could happen like 80 years later.
Something that could happen 80 years later as a consequence of their term would still be how bad their term is, right? It's still going to be the expected utility. So once again, do you have what's your problem with expected utility calculus as a way of measuring?
Because we're trying to talk about like how much harm they caused in their term. Like I'm not really
trying to talk about how bad they would be as presidents, right? We're talking about the counterfactual of Hillary Clinton.
How much harm they caused when they were president?
How much harm they caused when they were president, including the harm that occurs after they're president, right? The fact that the Trump's tax cuts were passed in 2018, I think. Whenever they were passed. 2018, that was right. That was when the 2018 Trump tax policies were passed, right? The fact that people are still suffering from that is still going to be a consequence of Trump's presidency. You're drawing an arbitrary line, so you don't have to deal with this obviously much worse event.
No, I'm not drawing an arbitrary line. I'm talking about their actual presidency. I don't think talking about their presidency is anything arbitrary.
So you don't think that we should include the effects of Trump's tax policy after his presidency?
Of course, we're going to look at the future.
Okay, so yeah, we need to talk about that during his presidency, the actual harm he did during his presidency in vetoing the AI bill.
No, sure. So we can measure like the harm that these tax cuts happen. I just think that we can measure something that's like not remotely close, like right now. Unless you can show me like the empirics that show it is going to happen like very soon and like directly responsible due to Trump and shit. I'll have to look at the study.
So again, you're not gonna have like a single study for something that complex. You're asking.
Well, like you said that you have like one that says like goes over like existential threats and rates them with percentages. Can you send me that one?
Yeah, the Precipice. It compiles like a various different
What
methods.
page is it?
It's gonna be. Let me see. I can open up my PDF. I know that it's going to be in the last section on, like, it goes through each of the list of existential risks, and then it's the chapter after that it talks about the collective probability.
Sure. So if you're saying that Biden did something that was worse for AI, you would say that he was worse, right? So this is like the main trick you're looking at.
I'm going to say that this is going to be the biggest metric because it's going to be the biggest existential risk, and that this existential risk measurement is going to be the most important part of applied ethics right now, especially in the modern era when the probability of existential risk is so high. When we have, I think Toby Ord rates it at.
Can you define like how high, like according to your study, how high is this likely to happen?
How likely is existential risk
from
like
the
AI?
Existential threat of AI. Yeah, how likely is that?
So when Toby Ord published that, he's going to say about 10%. I haven't seen what his current probability is. I know that super AI timelines have gotten much shorter. And Ajaya Katra, she updated her bioanchors model by like adding more empirics, and by weighing it more towards the short horizon due to arguments about it not having to feel like us to learn certain things like this, and instead being able to just memorize a bunch of stuff to do that type of thing. All of these things mean that the bioanchors model that like is the most common in the field for estimating AI risk is about 10 years earlier, so about 2040. So I'm not sure how much it would go up from 10% personally, just because of like my like projections of like how much we're going to be able to do to fix it in the next 20 years as opposed to the next 30 years. Mine's gone up quite a bit, but I'm not sure how much like the actual existential risk estimates are going to go up because of that, since that's really, really new information. Jay Kotrick came out with that article like 2 months ago.
Well, even if we say like 15%, yeah, I guess this is not really like selling the point to me at all that it's like extremely likely because of Trump's contributed because of Trump's policy. I guess 15% isn't really like, if we could prove that Trump's policies like increased it by like 10% or something, then I could probably agree with you.
It only has to increase it by the amount I sent you to be worse than the Iraq War, right?
Well, it's not just the Iraq War. Like there's like a bunch of other shit that's going on.
Sure. This is like comparing it to Bush, right? The original topic of debate, this is going to be completely irrelevant even to the original topic of debate on Hillary Clinton. We can also compare it. It's probably going to be, if you can like give me the full list of deaths that are responsible for the Bush administration,
so
it has to increase it by that amount, or like I'll give you like the number that you have to increase it. I promise you it's not going to be enough. I promise you just Trump with the
assuming
the AI risk
assuming this will happen, assuming that this will happen, which is according to you, there's only a 10% chance.
No, not assuming this will happen. This is just based on the percentage.
Doesn't your data say 10%?
The percentage it increases the likelihood of it happening, right? That's all it has to do is increase the percentage likelihood that it happens by that amount.
Well, no, wouldn't it happening be like the main thing we're trying to like decide? Because if it doesn't happen, then it wouldn't. Yeah, the argument wouldn't really hold, right?
No, because that's not how expected utility works, right? If there's a 50-50 chance. Wait, no, hold on. If you press a button and there's a 50-50 chance of the Holocaust, you still, even if you press the button and there didn't happen to be a Holocaust, you would still be like morally responsible for like doing the bad thing of pushing that button. So even if it didn't actually end up being the case that you caused the Holocaust, you still chose to push the button with a 50-50 chance of causing the Holocaust.
No, sure. But if it didn't happen, you wouldn't be morally responsible for 6 million deaths, would you?
I would say you'd be morally responsible for 3 million.
Why? Why not 6 million?
Because it's the consequence of the pushing the button times the probability, right? So it's just like 50%.
But you didn't kill 3 million. You didn't kill anyone.
You pressed a button that would have had the consequence of, on average, killing 3 million.
Yeah, but it didn't. So you didn't. You're not
6 million
for any of them, right?
Because 12 million is the Holocaust. No, I do think you're responsible for even if you don't know what the actions are going to be. The only reason that we care about like how good or bad a person is, or like how good or bad an action is so that it can help us understand if that person has good dispositions, and if the action was good from the information that we had, right? Like if it would have been a good one to take. Both of those are only going to matter expected utility, not actual outcome utility. I think that you could say like perhaps like the overall outcome of the action was good or something like that. You could say something like certain things about the action were good, if it also gave like
So you're not saying
$10 to
this
the
like from a
president.
consequentialist perspective.
This is a consequentialist perspective. Every consequentialist uses expected utility. I can show you Peter Singer. I can show you any applied
No, you're saying
ethicist
that there were.
utilitarian who
Okay, hold
they
on.
all
So
use
can you send me the
expected
PDF of
utility.
this book? Do you have a PDF of this book I can look up?
Toby Ord or or like any book on expected utility. I can
No,
send you
the
Peter
book you
Singer's
said.
Introduction to Applied
The,
Ethics.
all right, no, I can. Let me look at this book about the study. I just want to go. Like, we should probably nail this like thing down before we move on.
Toby Ord, The Precipice, sure.
Yeah.
PDF. Um, Here we go. Page 162 is going to have the estimates on probability for each.
Sure. You said 152?
162.
Okay. How many people does this involve? Or I guess I can just look at it.
Book is written by Toby Ord. It uses information. You can see all the citations from a variety of different sources.
Sure. Wait, Bush didn't pass any. Did Bush pass any legislation on AI that would change your mind?
No, because the information. So no, the issue is going to be it's going to be about expected utility, right? The information about artificial general intelligence wasn't as great back then. It wasn't
Yeah, so it would
enough
have
that I
been.
would have that it probably would have been reasonable to expect the like existential risk at any point in his time.
You don't think it would have any percentage impact that he didn't tackle it early on?
I think it would have a percentage impact, but he wouldn't have the reason to know, right? He wouldn't have an expected utility of it because he wouldn't have any reason to believe that it's going to happen.
So is that true? In 2009, we had no information about like AI and where it could go in 2009.
Maybe at 2009, you mean like in January before Obama took over?
2008. So in 2008, we didn't know anything about AI.
I don't believe in 2008. Like I could go look. Arguably, if he passed something in 2008 that could have been harmful, maybe. I don't think that in 2008 we had enough of evidence that it was like worth being like morally considering towards.
So when did it become like worth morally considering? Like what date specifically?
I fuck, you want a date?
Well, you're saying it cuts off at 2008, so I'm like wondering where are we starting?
I mean, I can maybe look for like the specific evidence that came out. Ajay Katra, when did the bioanchors model get dropped? And when did I don't know, that probably when some number of expert surveys came out. I know they only started coming out in like the 2010s. That surveys started coming out showing that experts were predicting soon human levels of artificial intelligence. And by soon I mean at that point it was like 70, 80 years away. So the policies they would have passed then would have not very likely had as much impact. It becomes more important as time goes on, obviously. So yeah, I don't.
Okay, I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I don't know the exact date. I know AI Impacts has a list of expert surveys. If you just want to like find an early one, and like
I'm looking at the
who's
survey
required
right
for
now.
that
It
date.
says 1 in 100 for AI.
What are you looking at?
The book you sent me.
Where does it say 1 in 100?
Sorry, 1 in 10. Existential catastrophe.
Yeah, 1 in 10. That's what I told you initially, remember?
Yeah, hold on. Excuse me. Okay. 1 in 10. So table 6.1.
Is that the right table? Probably.
Or should I look for it?
I don't see a table name. I just see. Oh
It
yeah,
says
yeah, right,
table
right, right.
6.1.
6.1. I see it. Yep, that's the correct one.
Oh, let me look.
All right.
I'm trying to look. I'm trying to find like the methodology because I'm not sure how you could calculate like how much is like
So again, it's going to be Bayesian
nukes
inference,
more
right?
likely.
The probabilities can't be exact. There's not a, like you can't run society over and over again and see if it like if society ends.
How would you like set like how would you value each thing in Bayesian?
Um, so you're just going to take like the evidence that you have and like and then consider the like the probability that you're wrong as like a confidence interval, right?
But like
So
how would you like you calculate like for example for like nuclear war? How would I calculate like how much something can increase the likelihood for nuclear war?
I can send you the Global Catastrophic Risk Institute. I believe that's referenced in yeah, it is referenced in the Precipice. I can give you their model
Because
for
doesn't it just like
how to begin to do that.
doesn't it just depend on like what you value?
No.
No, because like couldn't you think that one thing will be like way more likely to like increase the likelihood of like nuclear war?
What do you mean by what do you value?
So it says like there's like 1 in 1,000 chance of nuclear war, right?
Hmm.
Let's say that like something is done and like I don't know, someone invades fucking Turkey or something. How would I know how much that increases the risk? Like when I say, oh, this increases it by like 20%.
So
Like how would I calculate how much it increases
I
each
can
one?
send you a GCRI model on like early models of that. Obviously, that's very difficult to do. I've seen like approximates that we can get based on like just like how many steps away we are from it, and then trying to be like again Bayesian about like how often do strikes like that happen, and therefore what is the likelihood of like a strike like that escalating the situation, and what is the probability of like each step of the chain. Obviously, we've never seen the last two steps of the chain, so we have to make more
Yeah,
like
we have.
mechanistic. Uh, Sorry, no, we've never seen nuclear retaliation to a nuclear bomb. That's
Oh, yeah, talk about nuclear strikes. Okay, I've seen nuclear strikes sometimes.
yeah, the first nuclear strike isn't like all out nuclear war.
Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, this is interesting then. So then you would say that Kennedy was like the worst one, because, I guess like one of the worst then, because during the Cuban Missile Crisis, that was probably the closest we ever got to nuclear war, right? According to the button
um,
theory, right?
if I'm not sure how much I would blame Kennedy for the Cuban Missile Crisis, but that's
Like, let's say he's
I'm not that sounds plausible, yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
assuming he like massively increased like the threat for nuclear risk, you'd say that like he's responsible for like partially that.
yeah. I think he's probably the worst president with Trump up there. Those they're going to be the two biggest existential risk people, I think.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find 6.1. All right, hold on.
Um,
I think I should ask you about the morality about this because I don't know. Like I guess I'm not sure like on this morality. Like if something's potentially happening, like you're responsible for something potentially happening.
he,
Like I don't know. I feel like this is like a weird way to look at it.
okay, again, if you press a button, right, and it has a 50-50 chance of causing the Holocaust, are you responsible if the Holocaust happens?
Of course not. Like I wouldn't be responsible if it didn't happen. You probably shouldn't press the button, but like to say that they're
Wait, you
responsible for
wouldn't
something
be
that they didn't
responsible
do.
if the Holocaust happened?
No, no, you'd be responsible if it happened, but if it didn't happen, you obviously wouldn't be responsible for. But let me put it
So
this way. Let me
why
put
does
it
the
this way.
moral valence change when nothing about your actions has changed? It
Because
seems
the
like
outcomes are different,
strange. It
right?
seems well, the outcomes are different, but you didn't know that when you were taking the action, so it doesn't make sense for you to correct your behavior based on that. It doesn't make sense for anybody to punish you for that. It doesn't make sense to say
Let
you're
me
a
give
worse
like an
person because you
example.
didn't have any reason to believe that it was not going to happen, right? You
Can
had
I
the
give you an
50-50
example?
chance. You have the expected utility of the 3 billion death or 6 million deaths. Sorry.
Can I give you like an example?
Sure.
Let's say you're like playing baseball with like a child, right? And you throw the baseball and it just barely misses their head. It's very likely that if it hit them in the head, that could have killed them. So like, would you be responsible for murdering them because you had like a high likelihood of like almost killing them? Like, I guess I would say
So
not, because I mean, like,
it
you didn't do it.
it
Even
depends
if you
on
increase the
the
likelihood of killing them.
if you had like an 80% chance of killing them and you got by with it, yeah, I think you should probably first of all, you're morally responsible, and the best way to run society would probably be to like have that person charged for like attempted murder, right? Um, but if it depends on how low it is, right? Like if you go out
Yes,
drive a
if it
car
increased
and
it by
there's
like,
like
let's say,
a
10%, right?
if it increased it by like 10%, you're probably yeah, then there's like a one you have like you're morally responsible yeah, morally responsible for about 10% of a murder.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't, like, why do you calculate it in this way if the outcome is
That's
different?
first of all, that's just like the consensus of utilitarian applied ethicists is that expected utility is like how we ought to make our actions and how we ought to judge
Sure,
like
assuming you're a utilitarian. I'm just saying, like, I'm just asking
yeah.
you. I'm not asking what utilitarianism says.
So you're asking like why use that? Because it has better consequences if we make decisions based on expected utility than actual utility. There's like no benefit to like deciding the moral valence of an action before or after.
So you're saying that, like, the outcome doesn't really matter. Like, it's like the actions itself which increase the likelihood of something, which is like the main thing.
Yeah, it's the only reason we care about the moral valence of actions is the extent to which they like are going to have an impact on the world, or which they like give us insight into somebody's disposition. If an action we don't know that it's going to have an impact on the world, there's no reason to punish somebody who had no reason to believe that. There's no reason like societally to have that recognition. There's just like no reason to care about that over anything else.
Okay. I mean, I guess if this data proves true, then I guess this could be correct. I mean, I just don't know. It seems like it could be true. I just don't know, like, if the likelihood of like AI fucking mass genocide isn't necessarily that possible. But
I yeah, I don't know. The existential risk is going to be pretty well supported by pretty much anybody who works in existential
so you
risk
think that so
that AI is
therefore
going to
you
be
would
at the
say
top.
so you say that therefore each government going forward has even more of a responsibility to tackle it. So, like, the next
Absolutely.
president has to do
Which is
even
why it's
more.
great that Biden did like more than any other president ever.
AI Bill of Rights. Is that what you mean?
No, I'm talking about the Chips and Science Act. I would love like a AI New Deal, Workers Bill of Rights type to economic New Deal type thing. That would be a great Bernie policy. Hoping for Bernie 2024 on that one.
He's gonna be dead by then, but maybe.
Nah, Bernie lives forever. Bernie lives forever in our hearts.
I'll have to read this book then.
Yeah, you really should. It's a good book. Another good long-termist book in a very, very similar vein is called On What Matters. It talks about it basically talks about the more like ethical foundation. That's mostly just talking about like we're at the precipice. These are the existential risks. On What Matters talks about like why we should prioritize existential risks above like other effective causes. If we want to be like effective altruists or whatever, if we want to live up to like maximalist like doing the most good principles of doing the most good. Why future generations ought to be considered equally to current generations, and the fact that there's a lot more future generations means that on aggregate they should be weighed a lot more than current generations.
So you mean, like, we should, like, if we had the option to, like, kill like a certain amount of the population today to save like more people in the future, you would do that? Right.
So yes, if it
Like,
actually did that,
let me
yes,
give like
if
the
it actually did that, but I would be worried about setting the social precedent of
sure. Like, let me give like the classic meme of, like, you can kill one person and harvest their organs to save 10 other people. So that'd be like a good calculus.
No. So the problem with that is that it is going to be the social precedent thing again. If you set that precedent, then like people aren't going to want to go to the hospital. You're going to cause a lot of distrust in the medical industry. You're probably going to have people with overall worse health outcomes. On top of that, giving the state and corporations the ability to just like kill people at its whims is a really, really bad social precedent. It's much better to have like a check on power to prevent that from happening. If it's sufficiently bad, right? If it's like kill this person and harvest their organs, or all of the human race goes extinct and there will be no more future generations, and an evil AI causes like infinite suffering forever. Then obviously it's better to kill the person. But that excuse me,
Okay.
that that situation is going to be like incredibly rare, and you're just going to be weighing like the social precedent against that.
Okay. I guess I mean, I'll have to look at this book then.
Okay,
I don't know. Well, okay. There's one final thing I can ask you then.
shoot.
Do you think? Okay, this is an important one. So Obama was in office for 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
In those 8 years, he did not commit like any substantial policies to massively reduce the amount of like meat and animal products we intake. So like he is responsible for 8 years of animal genocide, right?
Yeah, I think most presidents are going to be that. Yeah. Trump is going to be worse though, because technically Obama did do more. Obama on a federal level struck down ag-gag laws. Or sorry, not struck down, fought against ag-gag laws. And was like more on top of animal agriculture regulation. Trump, on the other hand, his agricultural advisory board had like the meat industry top representatives.
Sure, but that was 8 years of Obama, 8 years of like animal genocide. So like if we count like I would assume that more people like were consuming meat under those 8 years than in 4 years, right?
Like not per year, obviously. Trump is gonna have like a worse disposition. I guess, yeah, by virtue of being president longer. Since both of them are going to be massive net negative utilities.
So we brought up like the 1 million people that died in like war. So how would you calculate the billions of animals that are dying every year for food? That would be way worse then, right?
So actually, I'm going to weigh the existential risks of that even more than the animal suffering. It's the climate change and the pandemic risks are going to be much bigger, because just that number of people that could live in the future is going to be way more than even the number of animals that are like being tortured and raped and killed now, right?
Sure, but the animals like right now, right?
Yeah. What about them being right now?
Like so, I don't know if like you consider like killing animals to be like morally bad, right? I'm assuming you do.
I actually think that in most cases, killing animals in factory farming is morally good, because it reduces climate change, reduces pandemic risk, and ends their suffering. I think they're one of the few net negative lives that they.
Wait, hold on,
I
wait,
would
wait.
rather I would rather be dead than be a factory farm animal. So I think it's like probably good to like let them die.
Wait, so you think that factory farming is good then?
No, because factory farming includes the breeding, raising, torturing, raping, like all of the bad things, as well
So
as
how would you
the
calculate like?
existential risks.
So how would you calculate like the amount of suffering each year of factory farming, and like if an administration doesn't do anything to address it, like how responsible are they?
Um, how responsible are they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be relative to like how much power they have to change it, I guess.
So if someone has the ability to like massively reduce meat intake and they don't do it, they would be responsible for those deaths that they didn't stop.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess I'd have to look at this then, because I would assume that throughout history there'd probably be like plenty of U.S. presidents that had opportunity to pass like substantial legislature on meat, but I guess they didn't do it because they just fucking didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, they would need the approval of Congress, and I don't think Congress would have had that power at any point. Plus, it's possible that would have like killed their ability to maneuver politics to pass other good policy, and it might have like eroded democracy or had other bad long-term effects. So I wouldn't know the specifics, especially back then,
How
before it
many
was
is
a
how
huge
many,
existential risk, before it was like
how
the
many is
scale that
AI
it's at now.
expected to kill? They're saying that AI is expected to kill billions, right?
So AI as so the whole point of an existential risk is it's like the species gets knocked out below carrying capacity, or sorry, below regrowth capacity. Like they go, their population gets so low that they're not able to bounce back. So an existential risk would lead to the death of 8 billion humans, for like currently alive. But on top of that, it's going to be the prevention of all future generations. So like like millions of years. I think it's 10 billion, right? What's the number exactly?
Yeah, 10 billion, I think, is that predicted.
Yeah, 10 billion years before the sun dies out, and 10 billion carrying capacity. Like the expected number, like the decrease in expected utility is going to be more than like the amount that it kills right now. It's going to be all of those 10 billion years worth of lives as well.
So hold on. So if we have 10 billion lives, but I'm pretty sure like each year, more than 80 billion animals are killed. Wouldn't those 80 billion animals be worth more than 10 billion humans?
When does so I hold on. It's going to be a lot more than 10 billion humans, right? It's going to be 10 billion humans times 10 billion years. Because
Would it not be 80 billion animals times 10 billion years?
yeah, we can't continue animal agriculture. That's just going to be like the animal agriculture itself is going to be enough of an existential risk that it's going to be impossible to carry it on like.
So let's say like we massively reduce the amount of animals though to like let's say we only have like 20 billion animals left around. Would it be 20 billion times 10 billion?
I don't know what you're asking. To
I'm
continue
asking
animal
like
agriculture, at some point it's probably worse. Like right now, it's bad to do animal agriculture, right? The problem with the existential risk is like the humans can reform, right? Like it's not worth assuming that like humans are going to continue to eat meat, especially when they're going to be wiped out anyway. Whereas we do know that that humans are going to be like the biggest experiencers, and that there's going to be like a greater existential risk from it.
Why don't you become an anti-natalist then? Like if humans like
why?
But
Because that would mean that there would be less utility in the world.
Do animals not have utility?
Animals do have utility. Well, a lot of factory farm animals have like negative utility, but they have qualia and they have experience. So yeah.
So like let's assume that the average human, like, do you think that the average human being, just like by consuming stuff, like by consuming meat, detracts the utility of like other living things, like by polluting shit, by consuming fossil fuels?
I think that that their increased existential risk is going to be bad, and that they ought not do it. But I think in general, most people just like the life they experience is going to be enough to outweigh that. They're just going to have like enough positive experiences in their life that it's that
So
it's
if you
going
could
to
kill
outweigh.
every human, if you could kill every human to like massively increase the utility of every other organism, would that not be worth it?
No, that seems very unlikely. It doesn't seem like you are going to massively increase the utility of every other organism.
So you're saying that like no, hold on, because if we killed all humans and we stopped all factory farming, we stopped all consumption. I mean, that's like getting rid of all the big risks right there. There'd be no AI or climate change.
So if AI is going to be an existential risk to humans, it's going to be an existential risk to animals as well. Same thing with climate change. But if we're just talking about like if I could press a button and get rid of all humans, possibly. The only thing I would have to think about there would be the dark forest hypothesis, which means that there's like some possibility, basically, that that there's alien civilizations that already have AI out there, and us having an AI to like compete with and perpetuate our values in case that thing comes and like gets suffering.
So like at that point, we're getting too far off like anything known. Anything could be possibly known.
Well, there has to be some explanation for like why statistically it should be the case that like there should be like intelligent alien life, and yet there seems to be no sign of alien life.
I mean, don't people use this argument for God?
No, I mean if they do, it's dumb. Like, are you talking about like fine tuning or something?
I think it's something else. Never mind.
No, okay, so yeah, it's called the Fermi paradox. It's just the idea that like with all of the like planets that are out there, there should be intelligent life. So why isn't there?
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Well, statistically there does, right? There has to be some explanation for why there isn't, considering that there's easily enough planets for it to have to be the case that there's intelligent life out there. There's plenty of planets in the Goldilocks zone. There's massive evolutionary incentive to push towards intelligence. We're not that unique.
To like rephrase my question in a more simple way, I'm basically asking about the utility monster of like if we can fucking kill everyone to like massively increase the maximum amount of utility in the world, why shouldn't we just do it?
is not the utility monster. That is a very different thing than the
No,
utility
you
monster.
get what I'm saying? Like if we fucking like had one thing that could like massively increase its utility.
If it were to actually maximize utility, then that would be great. My whole point, I would be like fine if maximum utility actually ended up being that way. It just isn't the case, right? It actually, because it makes sense, is the case that it's better to have like more people. It's better to have our values perpetuated. It is not better to wipe everybody out.
Is it necessarily better to have more people?
Is it necessarily better to have more people? I guess it depends on what you mean by people. If by people you mean humans, then no, it is not.
People that consume stuff in the way that I described.
Again, it's going to depend on, like, if you're just talking about humans, again, then no, they're not going to be intrinsically valuable. They're going to be instrumentally valuable in the sense that they can have experiences. I would be fine if all humans were wiped out in favor of other animals if they actually could have more utility in their lives. Humans are more efficient utility experiencers. We have much more vibrant consciousnesses because of IIT. We have like bigger integrated systems, integrated feedback loop systems.
This is more complicated then. So you're defining utility by the conscious experience, right?
Yeah, it's going to be by qualia. Or it doesn't have to be by qualia. I'm open to illusionism, if you know what that is.
Then at this point, why don't we just make a trillion AIs? Then why don't we just make a trillion different AIs to experience utility then, at this point?
If the AI decides that that's the best way for utility to be found, that's fine. I don't have a problem with creating like silicone experiencers alongside the carbon experiencers, but I think it's going to be a very long time before before it's going to be able to use the carbon-based systems that we have and the materials in our carbon brain to create like a more efficient utility experiencer. It certainly won't be in like our now very, very extended lifetimes if it's like well aligned and able to be like given towards maximizing utility and therefore like developing all the health stuff to help humans live longer.
Let's say we can make let's say like each AI has like one utility point. Why don't we just make a trillion of them so they can have like a more utility?
Because that would be less efficient with its resources than humans. But again, if the AI is if they decides that that's the best way to do it, then it'll just do it, right? That's fine. It's probably not going to be better than the silicone life forms, though. Than the carbon life forms. So we'll have like carbon brain experience, like brains, like human brains are probably going to be the most efficient utility experiencers on the carbon side. It'll probably focus on.
Why can't an AI be like?
And on the silicone side, it can be smarter than a human.
Yeah, it can't have the same emotions as a human, though.
I obviously we don't know, but I don't see any reason to believe that it wouldn't be able to.
Then why are you like focusing on the human brain or something?
So, because the human brain, as far as carbon-based computers, is going to be the best utility experiencer we have around, right? Evolution has super duper primed us to be good at experiencing utility, right? As opposed to when we talk about like silicone-based computers, it probably will be better. The like computer type stuff that we've developed, those are going to be the most efficient computers it has available for simulating utility on those computers. But when it comes to the other computers, right, alongside those silicone computers, it has a lot of carbon that it could be using to experience utility. Those carbon are already arranged in these perfect human brains that are incredibly efficient due to like years and years of evolution that have min-maxed our like power usage, our like resource usage, and our like our ability to like experience these really driving qualia, right? These like good and bad qualia, preferable and dispreferable.
I gotta go. I'll read the book, but yeah, I gotta go. I guess this is what interesting talk, but I gotta go right now.
All right, cool. It's been fun. Thanks for chatting. Let's see what's going on in the bunk server. Oh, oops. Hold on.
A field that is understood in any meaningful way. They don't understand brain processes. They don't understand these things on a physiological level that allows
physiological level?
Yeah. Was that
oh shit. What do we understand?
Term or something?
Oh yeah, so when you say physiological level, what do you mean?
What do you what
So I take it
your
Damn, I guess you didn't know what the fuck that meant. Okay, shit. So we're just rolling
word. Yeah, physiological processes. That means processes involved with physics and chemicals, in this case referring to brain processes.
Okay.
What is your
So you
problem
think
with
that
that
we don't
word?
understand how chemicals work, but then you literally just showed
Not
me
in a
evidence.
meaningful way because it's
But
so
then you literally
complicated.
just-
I just realized I haven't been checking chat. I forgot to pay attention to that. Hi, Moxie. Hi. Heart you. All right, now I'm looking at chat now.
So
Oh, I'm gonna keep
no,
restoring the
are
sentence
you-
until
are
you shut up.
Are you incapable?
I'm
of
gonna keep
understanding
restoring the
nuance?
sentence until you shut up, okay?
Are you incapable?
Are you gonna let me talk now?
I just did.
Are you sure? Because it sounded like you interrupted me like 8 times, and I had to mute you on my end. Because that's what it sounded like to me. I'm not sure. So back to what I was saying beforehand. Okay, is that you literally just said that we don't have an understanding of the way that these chemicals work, and then you're literally presenting me evidence. You're presenting me evidence in favor of the idea that the chemicals work in a different way than we expected. You are giving me evidence towards that conclusion.
That we don't understand.
And you're having a breakdown because. What do you mean the evidence that we don't understand?
The evidence is precisely that every time you try to specifically identify different brain processing neural, it's always 100 times more complicated than people initially think. And this whole field...
Do you think that because we were wrong in something before means that we don't have evidence in favor of things now?
No, but you should be
Oh, shit.
No.
Okay. So, if that's what you believe, right? We're just collecting new evidence in favor of different conclusions. We have the ability to observe them.
No, but the evidence is pointing to the inability... You're missing a nuanced point here.
I think you're missing a nuanced point to be made.
No, the point is evidence is pointing to the inability to make conclusions about these things.
No, you're literally pointing to evidence which would bring us to falsifying a hypothesis.
On the other hand, what you can make conclusions about are things like heritability, and they can quantify very specifically what the heritability is, for instance, of homosexuality. And they estimate it that it's as low as 8% and as high as 25%.
That's a really cool rant. But
to give you an
still
idea,
waiting for that argument.
To give you an idea of how low that is, heritability of drug addiction, depending on the drug, is usually around 50%. So the whole point is that
I'd be blown the fuck out if I was arguing in favor of the idea that like gay people are hereditary.
Yeah, but see, this is the
I'd be destroyed right now.
This is how I started. This is how I started. If you remember,
you started by arguing.
Yes, this is the whole point. All the actually solid science comes out on the side that these things are not innate, they're not heritable, they're...
What do you mean these things? You just made a point about
homosexuality, transsexuality.
Yeah, okay, so what about the transsexuality? About heritability?
All manner of deviant sexual behavior is not heritable. What you can have is a
really interesting thing.
What you can have is a degree of heritability in certain personality traits, maybe like a general openness or something. But that can manifest in a number of different ways, right? If you're open to new experiences or something, you could become a Christopher Columbus and be a pioneer and an adventurer. Or if you sit on Discord all day and watch porn, then you could become like a freak tranny like you guys.
Is that how it happened?
So
I didn't know that.
Back to the actual argument that you were making beforehand.
Before I ever logged on Discord.
Bloviating spiel. You literally just made a point about homosexuality and said that applies to being trans.
Please
when we're talking about being
trans,
trans,
you want to go on another fucking monologue. I understand.
You don't know what you're looking at when you take brain scans. They don't know what they're looking at. They come up with contradictory. They come up with contradictory things all the time. They are not able to draw solid conclusions, despite the fact that all the political pressure is on the side to do so, and they try their best to write these studies and use language that supports this nonsense. They are unable to because it's just not there.
Just so you know, I've actually been like engaging with the stream super hard. I just had you playing in the YouTube window and I forgot to undef it in Discord, so
Oh boy. Okay. So back to the actual point that I was making before you went on another fucking monologue, back to back, not allowing me to make any points. A person who is complaining about not being able to talk previously. I just think it's very ironic. I don't really care about you fucking interrupting the fuck
When
out of
did I
people.
complain?
Oh, literally early in the VOD.
In the what?
The VOD. The video on demand. The live stream. It's recorded. You complaining about being interrupted was recorded. Do you have dementia?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. At the beginning, yeah, sure.
Oh shit! Okay, great. Okay,
You
I
said
just fucking
VOD.
jogged his memory.
I didn't know what you
Like
meant by
amnesia
VOD.
was cured. So
I didn't know what VOD is.
you didn't know what I meant when I said that you were complaining previously about being interrupted, like that.
On the
That
VOD.
confused you?
On the VOD. I don't know what VOD is.
Oh shit, dude. Okay, fuck. So when it comes to, again, you're saying we can't know what we're looking at. Yes, we can. We can see that things correlate with other things. These could be good evidence in favor
No,
of one
you
thing or
can't.
another.
You can't draw
Yes,
any
yes, we
meaningful
can. You
inferences from
100%
that.
can.
You
Draw-
cannot. No, you can't. No, you
You
can't.
can like
you need to
fake
see. This
laugh.
is the whole
It kind
problem.
of sounds like you're crying a little bit. Like I don't know, dude. It just kind of sounds fucking weird.
Bayesian
Please actually engage
inferences
with the
for
arguments.
dweebs. Bayesian inferences for dweebs.
This is just sad. Listen,
I think
they
it is
can't
pretty
make-
sad. I don't know, dude. Like you seem to be suffering from amnesia. It kind
Are
of
you
sounded like
okay?
you were gonna cry a little bit earlier. You keep going on these weird monologues. It's like you're talking to somebody who's not really there.
Weird monologues. Yeah, weird monologues. You're
Yeah,
not
your
laughing
weird
as much
monologues
'cause-
where
'cause
you
you
constantly-
actually.
No, I'm
you
not
actually
laughing at
found somebody who knows
all
what he's
because I'm
talking-
not
yeah,
schizophrenic.
'cause
No, you don't know anything about science, right? You like just completely reject
you
Bayesian
don't.
influence.
You think
What do
you
I
know
what do I
anything?
misunderstand about
You're
science?
a little like homosexual child who got like brainwashed by.
Please stop fantasizing
sick-
about being a child.
like,
Please
sick
actually answer the
porn
question.
on
What do I
it.
misunderstand about science?
You're a mental child. You don't
Please stop.
understand that.
I don't care what you get off to. Me being mentally, physically, I don't care. So please tell me what I'm wrong about when it comes to science.
You're wrong that this stuff is innate. All
Innate
these,
to what?
you don't know what the word innate means?
Yeah, like what do you mean? Like in reference to what?
Homosexuality, transsexuality.
I didn't say homosexuality was innate.
Sexual fetishes.
Like again,
sexual
you're arguing.
deviancy.
Like maybe my headphones aren't working. Maybe
Sounds
there's
like
somebody else
fun,
in
right?
this fucking call. I never said that homosexuality was inherent. I never said that. Not once in this conversation.
John,
didn't
can I-
say that. We started off this conversation by directly denying that. You're insane.
No,
You're talking to
but
people who
you
don't
said-
exist.
You
When
said
it comes to
transsexuality is.
transsexuality, yes, we can see in brain scans it's a very high correlate of people being trans.
No.
John, can I level with
Yes.
you? I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you like grown-ups.
Like he's just like insane. Like he's just fucking seeing studies that aren't there. Maybe
Yeah,
like I
it's
don't know.
Crazy. John, I understand you probably got bad experiences, right, with the mental health care shit, right? You probably had a bad, but you being on your pills will make your life better. I swear to God.
That telling
Maybe
them
you
that
had-
only makes it worse.
Real. The ones you tried might have been bad,
So,
right? You
do
can
you-
try
do
new.
you
You can
think-
tell your psychiatrist. You can get a
Do
new
you
one.
think you
John,
were
have you ever been? No,
born
no. I want to ask you, John. I want to ask you a question before you ask me questions,
think
right?
you
My,
were
it's my, no,
born
no, hold on, John. It's my turn to
all
talk, right?
confused
Just
like
a
you
second,
are
John. I
now?
want to ask you a question. It's my turn to talk. Don't interrupt me, okay? I want to ask you a question right now. The question I want to ask you is just, what medication were you on, right? And what kind of reaction did it give you?
No, I've never been on.
You're unmedicated?
This is sort of silly.
Can you answer the question?
I just did.
The question was, are you unmedicated? You said this is silly. You didn't answer the
I
question, John.
already answered
You
yes.
no, you actually didn't answer that. You said that it was silly when I asked you that question.
No, I answered.
I'm glad you answered now.
can
You've
play
answered
it
now.
back.
It's good enough.
You can play. You can
We
play
yes,
it back if
we
you
can't.
want.
Yes, we can. If people can play it back in their
Moxie, my
memory. It was that
conversation
long. It
with
was like
Ruka went
30 seconds ago.
incredibly.
So
Yeah,
you're
you
unmedicated,
missed
right?
it.
I'm telling you,
missed it.
you should
But this
seek
is-
out
this is the
therapy.
whole
You
point.
should seek
Listen,
out therapy.
listen.
No,
The
you
whole
should
point
really
is-
genuinely. No, the whole point is you should seek out therapy. What you need to do.
the whole point
Right? Have you
is there is
have you
no
ever been to
evidence-
therapy?
Holy shit, dude.
Hold on, John. Have you ever been to therapy?
The whole point is.
No, hold on, John.
there
Answer my
is-
question. Answer the question,
No.
John.
No, the whole point is.
You have to answer
that-
the question, John, or I'm going to keep interrupting you. I'm going to make you answer the question.
I said no.
You've never
whole
been to
point-
therapy. Okay. So
The whole
you
point- the
need
whole point
to
is-
go.
the whole
No,
point-
hold
let
on.
me
The
talk,
whole
let me
point. Your
talk.
whole
whole
point can
point-
wait, right? We need to talk to you about therapy, right? So there are therapists in your area. You will be able to find some. Where do you don't have to tell me your exact location, right? But I'm guessing you're in the U.S., right? If you're in the,
I'm muting you.
if you're, I can mute you bigger than you
Okay,
can mute me.
The whole point.
My mute's better than
is
your mute.
that-
You people do this. You think you're gonna mute me?
Ev-
I'm gonna mute you better. I'm better at muting. Look, my mute's better. It works better than yours. It's a server mute. It mutes it for everyone.
So I had this conversation with this guy where he repeatedly said, like, we couldn't observe mental illnesses. And one of his proofs for why we couldn't observe mental illnesses is that there was good evidence that a mental illness worked in a different way than we thought there was, is what he said.
Real. He's a little stupid, but I want to let this guy have like another chance.
Like,
I think it's fair.
I don't know, it's kind of brutal.
I know. Let's let it. John. Okay, John. We will get you therapy. We will find out. Okay, you've never had therapy before. You're currently unmedicated for your. But no, the whole point for the 40th time. You don't have to settle. Already said the whole point. John, you've already said the whole point. You're going crazy.
Behavior in society.
John, are you okay?
They've been brainwashed.
We are safe now, right now. You're John. You're safe. Oh my God, he's just back. He's just gonna keep going.
Hey, John, I actually have one more question. Wait, one question. Wait, stop.
When all the solid scientific evidence points exactly to the opposite.
Please stop talking. Please stop
Every bit. Please stop talking. When this big study came out,
I'm gonna mute you for the stream. I'm gonna mute the stream. Okay? Please stop talking.
Yeah, because you can't handle it.
I can't handle your well-formatted points, dude. Your insanely well-formatted points that there's evidence that mental illnesses worked in different ways, and therefore we can't observe mental illnesses. That is an insanely good point. I agree. I agree. It's an insanely good point. I agree.
There's a complete inability.
You're destroying me in the debate. You're owning me.
There's a complete inability.
You're owning me in the debate.
Meaningfully identify.
Mercy, please stop. Please stop owning me in the debate.
How mental illness.
Please stop owning me in the debate. Okay? Please give me 1 second.
You have to let Bunk go. It's like unethical at this point. You're just bullying.
You're owning Bunk too hard. You're winning. You're winning the debate.
You can't win that hard.
Right, Gotta stop. Okay. So, I have a question. All right.
You keep making the same point, but you're not.
I have a question. No. Real quick. Okay. All right. Knock.
Who's that?
Not this guy anymore.
Let's go. Let's go.
Get him out. Get him out.
Owned in the debate, dude.
So how'd the rest of it go with Brittany?
That was fucking wild. It was so much fun. It was like wild.
Brittany's willing to set up the debate.
Bunk's live too.
Me and the other.
So I don't think I need to worry, but I'm also live, so.
Oh, base. Let's go. So the live streams have been doing really well recently. Thank you guys so much for interacting with fucking streams and shit, dude. This is just the best.
How pissed off would Brittany be if you think I just hopped on there and plugged the Crucible to get under her skin?
Bro, this entire stream has been chaos. I don't even think I'm gonna have time to work out after this shit. Okay?
It's wild.
Nutcase shit.
I thought it. So at first it was oh wow, it's gonna be a boring stream because the dumb fuck died, right? And we couldn't find a +1 for the guy either.
That was. Showed up.
But
then Brittany showed up, and then Mio showed up. No, Synth, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think I destroyed.
That was
there.
so
brutal. He actually got raped, brutally.
Oh my! It was bad. It was so bad.
Really bad. It's I don't want to. Mio has forever sworn off debating both you and me after that conversation.
Damn. Yeah, he was on his stream saying he doesn't even want to do debates anymore. He wants to teach. He said he doesn't want, fucking Andrew sends this to him in quotes, and he's like, haha, those who can't do. Yeah, no shit.
Dude, Andrew DM'd me asking for the VOD.
Real?
So base. This guy says run away. Oh yeah, dude, I'm running away. I'm running away so hard. Now, this person literally just denies the idea that we have strong correlates for transgenderism in the way that people's brains work.
And he just rambled. Oh, this history sucks P person looks like they're no. Do you want to drag them on? I haven't seen them.
They've been in here for ages, I thought.
Oh, shit, maybe I'm wrong then, yeah.
Yo, what's up, history stocks? What are you doing?
Bunk misspoke. Bunk says history stocks.
No. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I just want to ask, do you think New Englanders are actually real?
What's actually real?
New Englanders.
No.
Yeah.
I think they might be made up. I've met them before, but they feel like philosophical zombies, you know?
Yeah, true. They kind of don't feel real. I have a strong intuition that they're not real.
They're too socialist to be real. They're too based.
That dude was not fucking socialist, whoever that dude was.
Wurzelroot?
No, that guy's
a dumb fuck. He's dumb fuck shit.
Oh my god, okay. Hold on. Synth, we need to see if we can get on one of those pop-on panels with Brittany. Clearly, Brittany's never going to interact with you ever again. Maybe after this. Maybe Brittany's sworn off interacting with me as well, because that was kind of funny.
I would love to talk to Brittany. That'd be so funny.
Brittany came on the stream with
Whoa.
Mio.
Isn't
Brittany
that...
brought Mio to the stream. She
Came
came
on
the guy
stream.
got Wurzel root.
I think that's the wrong type of stream.
Isn't Brittany like a liberal, or is she just?
No.
Nah, she was lying about that.
No.
She's not. She's actually kind of brutal.
She's super far right.
Does she have actual political opinions? I don't think
Not
that's
really.
how that works.
I
don't think
she
women have
ebbs
that.
and flows. Wow, come on, get out of here. Okay. She ebbs and flows with whoever she's around. Whatever their political views are, whatever's like advantageous for her to like gain attention. Those are what she does. And yes, I unironically mean attention. She cares about attention. She does not give a fuck about the money. Right? Money's secondary to the attention for her. It's wild.
If she cared about attention, she wouldn't be like doing all the shit she did, because like how much she got like banned from a bunch of websites.
No, she's just stupid. She's just we have to keep in mind she's also really stupid.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Real.
Listen, I disavow all this shit talking at Brittany. They said they were willing to host a debate with me on their show and this retard. And that's all I need. I just want a veganism debate. I just want to talk about veganism. Right? I want to talk about veganism until I die.
You anti-vegan or like pro-vegan?
Oh no, I've been coming out of my schizo pro-vegan arc.
Oh, cool.
Have you not seen all the chaos on Twitter?
No, I don't use Twitter. I got off that fucking website immediately.
History, are you vegan?
No.
Why?
I can't give up fucking bacon and shit like that. It's too much. And also, I
That's
don't
a
know. I
modal
feel like
statement. I'm just gonna need to know what modality.
yeah, I don't really understand like the people like say like we should care like about like animals the same way we do like humans, or I guess like no like animals that we commonly eat. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think almost any vegans are making the argument that you should care about them equal to humans. I certainly don't value animals equal to humans. For one, they have much shorter lifespans.
Oh well, then what are you like vegan for then?
One, it's going to be both the animal suffering, because I'm still going to value them, and even if they're like 1/5 of a human's value, we'll call it, just for like a nice simple number. That's still like several holocausts worth of 3/5. Yeah, exactly.
But like, why do you value like an animal suffering like that?
I don't see any reason not to value animal suffering, and I disvalue suffering in general. There's no I don't see any reason to add another rule to break the parsimony of just dispreferable experiences are bad regardless of who is experiencing them, and preferable experiences are good regardless of who's experiencing them.
Do you think that like people might get suffering for not eating meat, like if they just had to give up all that completely?
Yeah, but definitely nowhere near as much suffering as one, the animals experience, and two, as much as utility as is lost from the increasing existential risks. Certainly not once we include the existential risks.
Okay.
Cool.
So you're vegan now. Nice, base.
No.
You're vegan now.
Let's go. Let's go.
Base, let's go.
I'm joking.
So hold on. Okay,
Go ahead.
I think I'm getting kind of tired. All right, I'm gonna end stream. I appreciate
That's fair,
everybody
man.
who's been showing up to the streams recently. All the people who've been donating to the streams. The fucking channel is doing really, really well, and that's really sick. It's really cool to see. If I could make this thing full time at some point in time, that'd be super based, and it's becoming more realistic every single time that I make one of these streams and people go and watch it. So I'm sorry about getting sappy for a little bit. Back to being mean to people on the internet. I'll see you all in the next one where I call somebody else a fat faggot. All right, peace. Also, YouTube review. I disavow all of the N-words, all the N-words, all the F slurs. Disavow all of it, except for whenever I said it. Then it was based, but that wasn't. I'm not a homophobe, right? I'm like,
You're just
like gay.
based. Yeah.
I'm just gay. Yeah, I'm gay.
Mhm.
Oh wait, you're not homophobic? Ew.
I thought you were based. Can't believe it.
I bet
That
you
entire stream,
That's too
we
far.
had like 30-ish viewers for parts of that stream.
That's
Have you
pretty
ever
good.
thought of doing like outside collabs besides people just who do politics, like the more normie streamers?
It's better than my current 4 viewers.
Wait, are you still streaming?
Yes.
Nick.
Whoa.
I disavow.
I hopped up on so much caffeine for that live stream.
Damn. And I guess Brittany just picked the wrong fucking time. This is fucking bunks out here on 40 coffee cups worth of caffeine. Has not done caffeine for months. Is very. Oh wait, no, fuck. You're not streaming anymore, are you, Bunk?
No, not anymore.
Okay, I'm gonna stop doing over exaggerated over the top tone then.
I'm streaming.
It's exhausting. Okay, yeah, but your stream's like a chill stream where you
That's true.
Yeah.
I like calmly roast MFs.
How did the Ruka debate go? Was it great?
For me, it's
Yeah,
not
it went
exhausting.
really well.
This is just like the way that this is the way, you know.
Ruka just dipped out of nowhere and didn't really have strong arguments against any of the existential risk stuff. Plus, I think I'm actually gonna get Ruka to read the precipice, which would be super cool.
Oh, Ruka dipped out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Oh, it was like fucking excuse runaways.
Oh,
nice.
Nick, did you see the debate with Mia?
Are you live?
Not anymore. Oh no, Phoenix is live.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My audio is shit. Sorry.
So I had this debate with Mio on deontology. Did he actually? I actually walked away. Did he ever answer the question, Synth?
No, he didn't. It looked so good. It was.
It would have been no, Synth. I would have actually been destroyed if he answered the question as I walked away. But he didn't do it. He didn't even do that. I was so certain he didn't have an answer that I was like, I could just walk away.
Real. Yeah, no, it was perfect because it was very obvious he didn't answer the question too.
Bunk, I tweeted out your debate with Beardson.
dude, Beardson was actually like a retard. That guy's actually like brain.
That was so embarrassing. Like, I heard at least the guy's funny. I don't see it. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, he told you to die for like 9 minutes.
Dude.
Who's Beardson?
Dude, this guy kind of looks retarded. Like, he kind of looks retarded. This Beardson guy.
Is he like conservative or?
Yeah.
I disagree and I refuse to elaborate. Dude, that was actually such a Chad move. I disagree and I refuse to elaborate.
Real. I love the way they react to being insulted. I love the way that crowd reacts. They defend themselves. They don't just ignore it and move on. They're like, no, I'm not faking my accent. No, I'm totally more than 5'2". Hey, why would you do this to yourself?
Okay, I'm actually gonna go work out. I'm gonna get on my earbuds if you're okay with that, Phoenix. I don't know if you would think that's super aids.
No, I don't have a problem with it.
Alright, sick. Okay, my new earbuds aren't that bad, so we should be fine.
Wireless?
Oh, I gotta work out. I work out every single day, and it feels weird that I don't do it. And I literally was not planning on being on stream for that long, but it was like such a good stream. It was like actually so good.
I might end stream soon unless I find something else that's pretty entertaining to do.
You should, if it's the case that you don't have more people to debate, you probably should because you don't want to fuck up your engagement.
That's probably true. I've been carrying the same amount of viewers, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you're just gonna be like a VOD, right?
I'm probably gonna. I don't know if I'll leave the. I'll probably leave the live stream up and just upload just the Ruka debate.
Okay.
Separately. So history sucks pee. Do you think it would be bad to rape a dog?
Probably, I guess.
Do you think it'd be bad to rape a cow?
Yeah. Can you just tell me what you were asking that for? I feel like it is a rhetorical question.
Yeah. Do you think it would be... Well, there's one last line, and then I'll show you exactly where this is going, all right? Do you think it'd be immoral to pay for somebody to rape a cow?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think it's immoral for you to eat meat?
It depends how if you making that meat is done by you raping that cow, I guess.
Yeah, that's just artificial insemination. That's how like all the meat at the grocery store is made.
Do you think it's possible to get that meat done, put in the grocery store without raping the cows or like forced insemination?
I don't believe it can be done on that scale, no. Um, it,
Well, I didn't ask on the same scale, but like maybe it'd be like more expensive or more time producing without like forced insemination. But do you think it's possible?
Um, if just to put less meat on the shelves, to put like non-rape meat, that's yes, it is possible. It's still not worth it considering the existential risks. But that's not what you're doing, right? When you decide whether to purchase meat from the grocery store or not, you're just deciding whether you want to spend money on animal rape or not.
So, are you actually against consuming animals, or are you only against like the raping part of that comes with consuming animals?
I'm
Hello.
against consuming animals because it leads to animal suffering, one, through the rape, two, through the shit conditions where they're like huddled up together and shitting on each other and like head to ass.
What if we got rid of both of those?
It would still be the case that the existential risks would be bad. And
Like what?
the climate change and pandemic risk are going to be huge. We're going to be giving a majority of our antibiotics. I think it's I don't remember if it's 62 or 68% right now. That's the amount of the proportion of our antibiotics that we're giving to animals that make it so that we have way less resistant bacteria, or sorry, way more resistant bacteria, which means that if there's some sort of bacterial pandemic, we're going to have a lot harder of a time treating it. And because of the conditions, like of the animals being there, the risk of zoonotic disease is way higher. All of the last major pandemics, like 8 of the 10 last major pandemics, have all been zoonotic, caused by farmed animals. So that's like another risk to wiping out our species. Like a
I guess I'm
extinction
just
event.
asking is like, what if we improved all the conditions from what we get like animal meat from? Like,
It would be impossible to wipe out the climate change and pandemic risks such for it to be ethical.
well, isn't climate change kind of inevitable either way? So it's like,
Nope. We could get ourselves 68% towards the goal that we're trying to get to avoid the worst effects of climate change.
yeah, but like realistically,
just by
like,
getting rid of animal agriculture. I think that like it is certainly going to be at some point within the interest of capital to reverse climate change. If that's like your hold off, that's like rich people are certainly going to have an interest at some point in reversing the effects. I also think that like there is democratic pushback, and that especially if we continue to organize labor and we push for further left wing policy, we'll be able to get carbon and methane and nitrous oxide emissions so low that we certainly shouldn't have an extinction event because of climate change, especially if we take actions with animal agriculture. And it probably won't even we can probably avoid like 2 degrees Celsius. Possibly.
how far do you think we're from that goal?
How far are we from that goal?
Yeah, currently.
I mean, right now we're pretty far from that goal. Increasing the existential risk isn't going to make it any easier to achieve that goal. One of the actions that you can take right now to get us a lot closer to that goal is to stop eating meat.
I guess. But it just seems like it's the whole like problems with like climate change are kind of inevitable either way. Like, even if it's not to the same scale, like we're gonna see some consequences.
So
regardless.
some form of climate change is going to happen either way, but there's a huge difference between an existential risk and like bad things happening because of climate change, right? Bad things are going to happen because of climate change. We're too late to fix that. But the possible of an existential risk event of like an event so big that we wouldn't see future generations anymore, and we'd have to like account for all of their lost utility are going to be it's going to be huge. There's going to be a huge difference in how much those matter relatively, and your reduction of climate change so that the current impacts are worse, and so that the probability of future generations goes way up means that you're bringing a lot of utility in the world by lowering that risk.
Yeah, to be honest, I really haven't given much of the veganism stuff that much thought. Like, it's not just something. It's just something. It isn't something that comes to mind. Like,
Fair enough.
So.
It can be hard to like make that big of a transition in your lifestyle that quickly. What I would suggest though is like, do you ever go to Burger King?
No.
No. Okay. Do you get fast food? Do you get grocery stores? What's like places that you eat?
Uh, I have a bunch of mandarins.
So you go to the grocery store, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Um,
I eat not thinking about that, I actually have a pretty shitty diet. I have chips downstairs. Last night I drank water, so I think that was pretty good.
so far everything you've listed, I think, is vegan. Um,
Yeah,
so it doesn't
probably
seem.
not good though, because that's kind of most of what I eat.
No, you should probably eat healthier.
Yeah.
Next time you want like a protein diet, um, you should try getting miso soup. That's a good place to get like all of the
Ooh.
protein that you could get in meat in a way that like tastes really, really good.
I
And
tried
it's
it before. It
inconvenient.
tasted really weird. It was
Miso
like,
soup,
It's
really?
it's a
It
very
tastes so good.
acquired taste. It's very
Is
good
it?
though. I like it.
yeah.
To
I
some
always
people,
really liked
yeah.
it.
I
It's got
I
tofu
I
in it,
just
right? Tofu. It's got tofu in it, and it's tofu in broth, right? Which is kind of like tofu. It's dried and fried. Is the same. You're getting all the same advantages there. Miso soup. You're just like the protein's just coming from the tofu, and the tofu is like in fucking broth. It's gonna be like
think it's just more the
different.
broth that I'm not a fan of. Just
Is the
tastes like
to-
ass.
Is the broth you don't like?
Yeah.
That's weird to me then. Yeah.
So, like, what
Am I
usually
if you like
thinking of a
tofu, then
different
fuck.
miso? Shit.
Yes, you might be.
My like stepmom lived in China for a while, so I just looked it up, and
Ooh.
this American shit
Oh,
looks
miso is
nothing like
Japanese.
what I was taught.
I thought miso was Japanese too.
Well, I hate
Uh,
Japan, so it's probably that as well.
I guess maybe it is Japanese, and she's just weird. And was like, yes, I learned to cook it Japanese food in China. Um,
What are your thoughts on Japan?
it's quite the country.
I mean, it is that,
Mhm.
but like, have you ever paid attention to its politics?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
pretty
I,
pretty
I,
shit
I,
politics, pretty evil shit.
I wouldn't say it's evil. I just think it's really stupid.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
a one-party dictatorship, or not
There's
dictatorship,
really?
like it's like a one-party oligarchy for the most part.
Pretty sure it has a democracy. I think it's. I haven't looked into
Haven't
it.
they had the same ruling party for like 20 something years?
But yeah, it's because they get the votes, you know.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Is
clearly
is that
no
wrong
ways,
though?
there's no like propaganda that's indoctrinating people into it. Like no, it's just like a single party is going to be a huge drain on democracy. The fact that you don't have democratic transitions of power gives me a lot less credence in the idea that you actually have like a democratic system.
But they have like multiple parties in their their little what is it like parliament?
Not with any
They have
like
like
meaningful power though, right? They've had the same party as like the ruling party, right? As the party in charge.
I just want to look this up real quick.
Sorry, the Liberal Democratic.
Oh yeah, no, that's a huge majority.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as long as they got those votes,
It's
fair and
been in
square.
power almost continuously since its foundation in 1955. That's so crazy.
Isn't like most of the voters in Japan like really old people? So it's like,
I don't know that much about their politics, but that seems plausible.
yeah, because like it's like mostly old people. It wouldn't be surprising if they're like constantly electing like pretty conservative area, like conservative like leaders. Most of
Exactly.
the people are conservative. Like that doesn't seem like anti-democratic. It just seems like
It,
democracy not getting like favorable results, I guess.
mm, no, there's going to be some sort of consolidation of power when you have like a party this strong. So, one, if you're saying like it's a bunch of old people voting, then the youth aren't voting, right? And also the ability to vote, the voter like suppression from conservative parties is always going to be like higher, so you're going to see less democracy. Two, there's going to be like general indoctrination. We know that like technically the Soviet leaders or whatever received like the vast majority of the vote, and by any sort of polling opinion that we could get from them, they were broadly like in favor of their leaders.
Yeah.
So
well,
like, but like that doesn't really make it a democracy, right?
But do you think there's like voter suppression in Japan?
Yeah, I think there's like general human rights issues. Like I don't think it's voter suppression in the way that you would see in like the Soviet Union. It's probably going to be like closer to what you see in like Turkey or like to a lesser extent in the United States, right, where we see like black people have a much more difficult time voting because they get like.
Do you have any like evidence of this like voter suppression in Japan? I'd be surprised to see that.
Of like voter suppression at all in Japan, sure.
Yeah.
Japan voters. Thousands in U.S. South may not be able to cast ballots in early voting. Let me see. I can find things like referencing it, but I don't have like a direct source on the voter suppression right now.
I mean, if you give me something, that's fine. I can look through it because, like, I'll be honest, I'm not like the biggest in Jap. I tried to like look into Japanese politics, but it's kind of hard for me because like a lot of stuff that talks about is more like it's all in Japanese, and I can't read that shit. So.
Yeah, I can send you like I don't know. It's not going to be like an actual article talking about it. It's going to reference it in reference to voter suppression in other countries.
Do you have anywhere where you linked it?
Do you just want like people talking about voter suppression in other countries and saying like, is it like that in Japan?
Sure. I just want to see if this is like a thing or not because I'm not really like that sure about it.
I mean, it's just going to be a thing in every country, right? You're going to see conservatives doing voter suppression in every country. The degree to which it exists is going to vary, but
I think that's kind of a weird. I don't think every conservative in every country is going to do voter suppression. I mean,
not every conservative, but every conservative party is. Like, I mean, this is like, you can try and show me a country that's not.
I mean, I'm not really. I've never really heard that claim before. Like all conservative parties are doing voter suppression, so it's like, that seems like a very silly thing to say. I mean, do you really know that for sure?
Do I know that for sure? No, I could be wrong on anything.
Okay. I mean, there are probably also liberal parties that do voter suppression. I mean, like
Here's
I think
some stuff
like
that happened under the party. It looks like they were, yeah, they were they were revised in 2006 by like opposition, so that they could allow for the guardianship. But here's one example of the voter suppression as far as like people under guardianship. Profile, send message. Where is the, oh, here we go. Send.
Okay. Can you just define real quick what you mean by voter suppression?
Trying to reduce the number of people voting in order to increase the chances of your political favor having power in the state or whatever governing body.
I feel like that's something that kind of a lot of political. I don't think like conservatives do that. I mean, wasn't it like a few? I thought there was like evidence of like Democrats in some states doing like gerrymandering. Like,
that's not reducing the number of people voting.
well, it's kind of like so. It's like it's like meddling with the election, you know, where it's like trying to
Sure, it's
rig it
not
for
decreasing the number of people voting. I agree the Democrats shouldn't gerrymander. I think that Democrats are probably too conservative when they do things that are anti-democratic like that. You'll notice populist and progressive Democrats are going to be more likely to be against gerrymandering. Bernie Sanders, for example, is going to be hugely against gerrymandering. They're also going to be the most against money in politics, and they're going to be the most for expanding the vote.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Anyway, it's been fun. I should probably call stream before it gets too late.
Oh, where are you streaming on?
Just my YouTube channel. Phenomics. You know, like, subscribe, hit the buttons. You know what to do.